Hi, my name is Kimberly from Zebin Development. Today I'm going to give you a demonstration of how to use Class C within Portacular for the Razor's Edge. So first of all, go to the plugins area of your Razor's Edge and open up in Portacular. Select Class C from the available data sources and click Start. And then we can then choose to either fetch the successful or the failed data, and we can choose the date we want to import entries from. The system will automatically choose the date you last imported entries as the date to start from, but you can change that. And then it will show you here that we've got 7 records to review. So we're going to select our mapping template, but let's just take a quick look at it before we start the import. So I've got a number of different areas set up here. As you can see, I've got the main constituent, who's the supporter. I've got a constituent code of Class C supporter that's going to be added to all the people that I import. I've got the supporter's home address and their billing address here, and I've got the email too. Let's take a quick look at the home address. So we click on the drop-down menu and we can really easily select the field from Class C that we want to map to. I've got address 1, address 2, city, country and zip. With the country, I've got a table in Razor's Edge. So if we click on the settings over here, we can see that I've created some custom fields that should be dynamically changed to fit in with my Razor's Edge table here. So GB will be United Kingdom, US, United States, CA, Canada, and so on. So this just means that you don't have to mess around with the data before it comes into Razor's Edge or add entries to your table that don't match with what you've currently got set up. However, if you want to, you can attempt to add new table entries, and you can make inactive table entries active if they're currently back in use. We've obviously got some other options here as well. We've got some text casing, and we can choose which records we update for. And obviously some of these are more relevant depending on which data you might be transforming, for example, names or address lines. So let's save that. We've also got our GIF data here as well, and let's take a quick look at that. So again, it's a simple drop down. It shows us all the fields that we can map to. We've selected our fund and our GIF status. So the column in the middle, you can drop down to select a field name from Class C. The default value here allows you to select a default that goes onto the record. So as I say, all of my records are going to come in under my general fund. Okay, so let's come out of that. We're going to create a control report, and this just shows us any errors that there might be in the processing of the import. And we can create a query of new and updated constituents on Razor's Edge. We can also create a query of exceptions, and those are obviously only for records that already exist in Razor's Edge. So once we select continue, that will show us our review screen. So this is all the data before it goes into the Razor's Edge, so we can make sure it's exactly as we want it to be. On the first tab, it will show us the action to take on the left. So whether it's going to create a record or update a record. And if any say decide, then that means it's found a match in the Razor's Edge, and we need to decide whether or not to update that record or to create a new one. This one, whilst the address is the same and the last name is the same, doesn't look like the same person. So we're going to create a new record there. We can see this record here is going to be updated, and we can see the record below that's going to be updated. And if we've got somebody on here that we think is in Razor's Edge, but we can't see the match here, we can find them just by using the native Razor's Edge functionality. It doesn't look like that person is in Razor's Edge, so that's fine to create a new one. And then if we click across the tabs along the top, we can see the data that's going to be entered into Razor's Edge. So for the constituents, they're all going to be entered with their supporter data, and we've got the constituent code that's going to be entered for them here as well. We've got the address data that's being brought across from Class C into Razor's Edge, and you can scroll across to see we've got the transformed countries, we've got the address type, And if you notice any errors while you're looking through this, so for example here we've got a lowercase f on the 5th, then we can just update that on the fly as well, so that the data all going in is exactly as we'd want it to be. So from the bottom we can see the different areas that can go in. So here we've got the home address, here we've got the billing address, and here we've got the email address as well, and we've selected that as primary. And then finally we've got the gift information. And again, you can scroll across to see the campaign and all of the other areas that we've selected to sync across. So once you're happy with all of the data that's going to be imported, you can choose to validate it, and that will just show you any errors in the processing before you try and commit the data to Raiser's Edge. So let's validate that. And you can see the status has been updated down the side here. A tick means a create, a little pencil means an update, and we've got a summary here. So 6 new records, 1 updated one, none skipped, and no exceptions raised. So that means we're ready to go. So if we untick the validate only and close here, then we can import that data. So let's import it now. And again, the status shows us what's happened. We can see that we've got 6 new records and 1 updated record in the Raiser's Edge. If we take a look at our control report, again, we can see that summary screen here. We can see all the data, and if there were any exceptions, we'd be able to see all that data on the second tab. And on the final tab, we've got our template that we used. So let's close this and go and take a look at some of the records we've imported. So here's my query. So let's take a look at this first record that we've created. As you can see, we've got all of the information, his address, we've got his email address here, we've got his constituent code of Class C supporter at the bottom, and the date selected that he made his donation. We've got the home address here. So you can see the gift hasn't been imported yet, and that's because the gift goes in as a batch. So let's take a look at that. So here's our batch. If we open it up, we can see all the information in there ready to go. And if we're happy with all of that, we can commit it. So all of this is exactly as you would normally see when committing a batch in Raiser's Edge. So let's commit those gifts. So our commit is complete, so let's close that. So let's go back to our query. And take a look at a different record. So let's take a look at the record we updated. So we can see we've added his Class C supporter details. If we go to gifts, this is the gift we've just added. So we can see all of the fields filled in that we requested. And the import is complete. I hope that's been helpful. If you've got any more questions about Importacular or you'd like to try it for yourself, please do get in touch. You can find us at our website, www.zeidman.info. Thanks for listening.